actually heavier than I thought it was going to be, but I guess that makes sense.
It's got twice as many fans as your normal 70mm jet.
Before we dig in and let Eric explain this model to you, I do want to say it was printed on his Bambu Labs Carbon X1, and he even printed a few parts from his brand new H2. Now, if you guys don't know about Bambu Labs, they took what used to be an extremely difficult task of 3D printing and made it extremely easy for anyone to find success. Now, Eric is going to be creating some custom airplanes based on these platforms with this filament, so make sure you guys stay tuned, and if you're interested in one of these printers, I did leave the link below.
So this is actually the second version of the F-35 I made. I have a 90mm version. That one I did first, and it doesn't have, the wings don't come off, the tail doesn't come off, it's not very portable. So actually I built this one specifically so that I could take it to events. The Neat Fair a few years back was one of the first events that I took it to. Since then I've taken it to the ArduPilot Developer Conference in a couple locations, so once in Australia and once in the UK. And then of course I've taken it to the Neat Fair again more recently. And it's really held up very well each time. The baggage handlers are pretty kind to it, and then this case, which is from Go Professional Cases, has been holding up really well also. But yeah, you can see it's got the wings and tail surfaces in the bottom there. Everything is held on with screws, so I'll have to flip it back over and put those screws in. But underneath I've just got these electrical connections for the motors that are on the wingtips. I have seen a couple of notes about the wingtip motors from people that watch how this thing flies. They're kind of scale. So the full-size F-35B has bleed air that comes from the engine. So it's air that's coming from after the compressor stages, but before the the fuel burning stages. So highly compressed air, and it's routed out to the wingtips, and then there's nozzles that are maybe here-ish that direct and kind of modulate that air. The reason that I can't do this on a model, although I did attempt it, if you go back in some of my earlier videos, you can see some like flying test flight platforms that have ducted exhaust from behind the fan out to the tips. But the reason it doesn't work well for a model is that when you have compressed air, like from a jet engine, you don't really get a lot of losses moving that through ducting, and you generate the thrust just where you're forcing it through the nozzle at the end. But with air from a fan that's not compressed, because fans are pretty bad at doing compression, you have a lot of losses moving that through duct, and the losses are bigger the further you're moving that and the faster that the airflow is going. So if you're taking 10-20% of airflow from the main fan, not only is that reducing the amount of thrust that you have from your main fan, but every inch that it travels out on the wing, it's losing more and more. So that doesn't really work great for models. When I do a bigger version of this that's fully printed, my plan is to hide, I'll have some ducted fans kind of out in the wing roots here, buried in the airplane, and then I'll just have their exhaust ducting inside the wing. So there's still going to be some losses from that ducting, of course, but since it's not tapping a small amount of airflow from the main fan, it's going to be a fully dedicated fan. It should still be good enough for what I'm trying to do, and that'll look a lot more scale. The smaller 70mm size is also kind of why you only see these two control surfaces back here. So I wanted to keep everything light, but I also wanted to keep everything portable. So if I had put ailerons out on the wings, I would have either another electrical connection to make if the servo was out in the wing, or like a linkage connection that I would have to make and break every time I assemble this. So decided to try just doing the tail control surfaces, and they've been working really well. And the tail on the F-35 is like 2/3 the span of the wing, so plenty of authority, no problems at all. So here's the F-35B ready to go. I'll kind of go over how it works a little bit. So of course we've got the main fan with the nozzle here. It's called the 3-bearing swivel module. It's fairly scale. If you look at some videos of the real one, this is fundamentally how it works. So it's got these 3 kind of pivoting ring gear sections. You can see the servos on the bottom of those connected to the gears. And those are their CAN bus servos from Hi-Tech. So that particular type of servo can do multiple full rotations and still keep track of where it is, which was needed for kind of how this geometry works. So in order to make that work, I built this little board, custom hardware, custom software. And what this thing does is it takes a tilt servo input and a rudder servo input that are coming from the flight controller and converts that to all the trigonometry required to twist the section. So if I go and switch into a vertical lift mode here, we'll see it move down to 90 degrees. And then when it's in a GPS position control mode, it actually is slaved to the longitudinal control of the plane. So if you look at it flying, you'll see it actually using the nozzle back and forth, and it can go past vertical, it can go to 105 degrees so that it'll stay level, and it'll use the nozzle to go forward and to go backwards, both for manual control and for using the GPS to stay in one spot. So super cool feature. It looks really neat when it's flying, and then it avoids, you can think of it, if it's like flying like a drone like this, you have huge amounts of forces just from moving forward and moving backwards on this big wing. So staying level and just using the nozzle helps to avoid all that. But yeah, other than that, as far as the flight control goes, it's ArduPilot, which in my opinion and many other opinions is the best open source autopilot platform for UAS. ArduPilot kind of natively supports a lot of VTOL configurations, but it didn't support this one, so I made a couple of changes. The one change that I mentioned was using the nozzle for position control. There's a bit of that's in there stock, but it doesn't handle backwards, so I made a couple of changes in order to get it to do fully what I wanted. And then the other change that I made was just the motor layout. So this is a little bit unique in that it's got the two fans that are doing the bulk of the thrust for vertical flight, and these two fans that are just doing roll control. But the yaw control, unlike a normal quadcopter, yaw control is done by essentially a servo. It's the rotation of this nozzle left and right when it's in the vertical position. So I changed the motor layout in ArduPilot to support that configuration, and that was about it. So everything that you see, the ease of flight, the smooth transitions, the GPS position holds, it's got return to home, all of that is native stuff that ArduPilot enables with VTOL platforms. Retractable landing gear, which is pretty neat. Kind of simple. The F-35's got big complicated rotating retracts, but on this one they just go into these wells on the side. Most of the electronics are down here in this hatch below. So you can see the flight controller. This one, it's a Maytech board, which is one of the boards that supports ArduPilot. A couple of ESCs back here, and then the receivers kind of buried off to one side. So pretty actually simple electronics-wise, at least considering how complex this model is. You can't see in the hatches, but the GPS for the flight controller is kind of up here on top of the nose gear. And then the top hatch is just battery, and then there's a little USB port for programming. So it's a 6-cell 4000 Admiral Pro pack, and then FMS 70mm fans, and then these motors out on the wings are little Emax micro quadcopter motors, essentially with 2-inch propellers. And with that layout, I can fly for 3 to 3.5 minutes, including vertical takeoff and landing, which for a ducted fan jet is really not that bad. Or if I do just hovering, I can do maybe 2.5 minutes of just hovering, which I don't really do anymore because obviously the whole point is to do the transitions.
Pressure's on, brother. You got an audience right now. You got the media out here. I'm nervous for you.
Eric Maglio with his scratch build, designed by himself, printed by himself, F-35B that will take off vertically and then fly horizontally and then land vertically.
Dude, that is incredible. There's the wide turn.
Model has a 30.5-inch span, 2.43 square feet.
Tom, you're botching it,
Weighs
bud.
about 6 pounds.
Look how good that thing looks.
Has an FMS 70 millimeter 12 blade fan. I don't remember what the lift base is. Now let him. Yeah, FMS Predator 80 amp ESC, and it's about 3,300 watts at vertical takeoff. .21 gigawatts. And the inbound transition. Hover. And showing off how it maneuvers well. Hover. And down. Hey. And a better landing than I've seen most full-scale pilots do.